3, 2.
Good evening, and welcome to Fairport Harbor Public Library's Test Kitchen, where tonight we have our very own Lee Negrelli from Wild Sport, and also a brand new library board member. Yay! We'd like to have her on board. Tonight, we're cooking
Thank you.
potatoes. Not Lee's cat. He is safe at home with Chad. Thank goodness.
We hope.
He's not in the pot, right?
He's not.
Okay. So we're cooking potatoes because our spice is rosemary from Old Familiar Ways. Yay. Another one of our great downtown businesses. Yay! So, you have at it.
Okay. So we're doing something really simple today. We're going to start with mashed potatoes, and we're just going to kind of fancy them up a little bit. So we're making garlic rosemary mashed potatoes. Potatoes, garlic, rosemary are a classic combination. So the first thing we're doing is making a rosemary and garlic infused olive oil. So you just have some olive oil.
It
Smells super good. We started it. The longer you cook it, the more flavor you're going to get out of it. So we just have some olive oil in that pan on low heat. You don't want the garlic to burn. I'm going to add some more. So just so you can see what the process is. I'm peeling the garlic, but we're going to end up straining this, so if you leave the skins on, it's not a big deal. And then just smashing it with a knife. The more bits of garlic we can open up, the more flavor is going to come out of it. And we're going to put all this rosemary in there too. So
whoa,
it'll be fine. All the rosemary.
It's yum.
So rosemary is it's a shrub. If you go down like South Carolina area, rosemary grows into huge bushes. Like you can cut it into hedges. I brought a metal strainer so we don't pour hot oil somewhere. So anyways, it has sort of a pine needle quality to the leaves, I guess we'll call them.
Should I go upstairs and get some? We have some growing in the library.
Oh,
actually.
No, I don't. The point is, if you're doing something like this, you can throw the whole sprig in there. Take the back of your knife, kind of beat it up a little bit. That will release the oils out of the stem part, and then just let it simmer in there. You want the garlic that we put in first, I don't know if you can see in the mirror, is a little bit brown and crispy. That's okay. We don't want it to burn though. Garlic burns very easily. So you can see the ones we just put in there have some bubbles forming around them. That's awesome. It's cooking. It can cook slow. This pan is on the lowest setting that this goes, and so it can just hang out there for as long as you want. In fact, you don't even have to cook it. You can dump all this stuff in a jar with your oil and stash it away in a cabinet and come back in a month and you'll still have infused oil.
If anybody's interested in working with fresh, off-the-stalk rosemary, stop by the library. There's some growing in the window.
Yeah, the fresh rosemary will be a little bit softer and it's easier to cook and eat with when it's fresh. If it's dried, if you're going to be eating it, like the actual leaf part, chop it up really small. We're going to be straining this, so it doesn't matter. Otherwise, it can tend to be a little bit crispy. So, we have cooked the potatoes already. We're going to make a basic mashed potato. Quick tip, if you're doing this at home, after you drain the water off your potatoes, put them back in the pot and let them dry before you do the rest of it. They'll be fluffier if you do it that way. Yeah. So,
something new learned.
That's why we're here, right? Okay, so we've got a potato masher, we've got cooked potatoes, I added some salt to them. I'll pretend that this is a good sized bowl to be doing this in.
A different bowl.
Nah, we're halfway there. So once we get this started to mash, I haven't put any butter or milk in here yet. I might add some, but we're going to see how far the olive oil takes us first. So when you put butter or milk in your potatoes, it's helpful if you heat them up first. Just get them going in a pan and add warm melted butter, warm milk to your potatoes. It'll stop them from getting cold while you're while you're working with them. If you are a person who likes really smooth, whipped mashed potatoes, you probably won't like mine. They're chunky, but you can get out the blender and whip them up if you want. Did I not bring my strainer? I brought a jar to put the oil in and maybe not my strainer.
So melt the plastic.
we're gonna melt
It's
the
like
plastic
110 years old.
This oil's not very hot. I think we'll be okay.
Well, and really, truly, that strainer is probably as old as I am. I've had it for years.
Definitely not making a mess at all. All right.
Well, we weren't.
Well, oil is slippery when it's all over the jar. Guess we'll roll with it. We're gonna add the oil that we have to these potatoes.
She will be using butter and milk now, folks.
Well, we weren't going to use all of that anyway. I was hoping to have a jar of it to take home. So, continue to whip this as best you can. Mash it all up until it's as smooth as you want. And then, we're not locked in here today. We're doing the best we can. All right, so we're gonna. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to get to the rags so we don't kill ourselves on the
Oh,
oil
yeah.
on the floor.
Yeah, since I've made this hazardous.
Kat, how is that?
It's fine.
The potatoes are delicious though. So we're going to we're gonna keep rolling here. We have delicious mashed potatoes. I want to show you one more thing. Well, now that's got oil on it.
Everything's
got oil on it. This one has less oil on it. Okay. So I'm going to get a plate to put these potatoes, or a bowl. When you have leftover mashed potatoes, I'm going to show you how to make a super quick, easy potato cake thing. So I'll make a small one just so you can see the process, and then we still have mashed potatoes. Here, you want to taste the potatoes?
We got Niagara Falls coming.
We're still cooking, folks. Potatoes are delicious. Recipe 1 already done. All right, so I've got a few potatoes here in the bowl. I'm going to add really good, right?
Just a little bit of heaven.
I have just a tiny bit. I have like one. Oh my gosh.
What?
Like a half cup of potatoes in this bowl. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of flour, like a teaspoon probably. And that's just gonna help hold it together a little bit. You can actually skip the flour if you don't want to add it. Just make sure your potatoes are cold when you do this because they'll hold together for you pretty decently. All right, and then we're going to use our hands. Again, this is easier when they're cold, but this is working well. You can tell if you have enough flour because it'll hold together. You can make a little.
Looks like Play-Doh.
It does look like Play-Doh. I'm just gonna press it into some breadcrumbs. Again, this part is optional. You can just put it in the pan and the outside will get crispy, but this gives it a nice little extra bit of crust. Just a touch of olive oil in that pan, which might be hot, might not be yet. A little bit. Oh yeah, we got a sizzle. Yes. And since your potatoes are cooked already, if you're using cold potatoes, just make sure you cook it long enough to heat it through, and make sure that once it's nice and brown, you can flip it. Probably have a spatula somewhere.
The device is,
You don't want to use metal on your nice new pans.
no, we don't.
We'll get it flipped with one of these guys. This one's pretty sturdy. Yeah, so you can see the bottom starting to brown once the little breadcrumbs around the edges are toasty. There it is. And just like a pancake, flip it over. Golden brown. Let it get golden on the other side. Serve them on a plate, sprinkle them with some chives, dollop of sour cream. Super fancy, super easy. Your guests will be impressed with you.
Wow, it is impressive. It's beautiful. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, despite all the spills and total mess and the fact that we have to dish soap the floor now, sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
But
It's
the
only
food
in
is-
one spot.
The food is good, so.
It is. It's wonderful. It is, as always, wonderful. We didn't need this.
We didn't use it. Yeah.
This is oat milk for anybody that's interested. It's a little thicker and creamier than almond milk, and it really doesn't have a taste of its own. So it's not like coconut milk that makes everything taste like coconut.
Yeah. Just some added
That's an
creaminess.
aside.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see you next
Good
time.
night, all.
We'll do better.
Thanks.